Hi, my name is Steve Herbert. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the chairman of the Finance Committee. And I've been asked to come to you today and do this video to talk about some exciting developments in the life of our church. Most of you probably know that the long-term master plan anticipates a 2,500-seat final sanctuary at a cost of about $25 million. The existing sanctuary is about a 1,500-seat sanctuary. And for those of you who've been to the 10:15 service, you probably noticed that we're starting to run out of room. So we probably need to think about building that $25 million sanctuary sooner rather than later. But the existing $12.6 million loan, and with just over 4,000 members, the bottom line is that there's no way that we can afford a project of that size. Frankly, we need to double our membership to near 8,000 members, and we need to pay off our debt before we can even begin to consider a project like that. But the good news is that we can reach those goals in 10 to 15 years if we continue to grow at about 4 to 5%. The bad news is that the existing 1,500-seat sanctuary is probably going to limit our growth long before we get to that point. So here's the problem. We need to grow to near 8,000 members before we can afford a larger sanctuary, but we need a larger sanctuary before we can grow to 8,000 members. The Long Range Planning Committee has been studying this problem for quite some time. And what we've discovered is that we can make room for continued growth at a much more affordable cost. We visited several churches using today's video technologies to simulcast the pastor's sermon to additional worship services that are being held elsewhere on their campuses. Most often, the primary service is a traditional one, while the alternative service is more contemporary. If you think about it, the congregation is unified under the teaching of its pastor as he works through God's Word, while differing preferences for worship style are being accommodated. To make a long story short, the Long Range Planning Committee is recommending that the church spend $750,000 on the technology, the staging, and the seating that it'll take to upfit our gym for simulcasted contemporary worship services on Sunday. We estimate that the gym can seat nearly 600, and this promises to increase our worship seating capacity by 40% from 1,500 currently to nearer 2,100. Over time, we should be able to diversify the availability of worship styles across all of our service hours as the membership desires. This is a proven concept. We really want to establish that. The churches that we've visited have been very successful. They've accommodated significant new growth in exciting simulcast worship services that are very well attended. And on an even more personal note, I want to share with you how excited I am about this proposal. Our mission statement is to share God's love with the lost people of this community. You've heard it said many times, it's about them, not us. And I really believe that this project promises to enable us to minister to new people in our community in some exciting new ways. On another, but a related subject, I'm also happy to report that the $2+ million project to add parking and athletic fields has been completed. We were able to get that done without borrowing any money from the bank. But we did borrow about $800,000 from the general fund by drawing down our unrestricted cash reserves to levels which really need to be restored over time. Construction may be done, but we need to financially finish the race. So putting these two together, in addition to approving the expenditures of about $750,000 to upfit the gym, the Long Range Planning Committee is also proposing a $1.5 million capital campaign over the next 12 to 18 months. The hope is that we'll be able to restore those general fund cash reserves of about $800,000 and pay all the costs for upfitting the gym for simulcast worship services. Hopefully you found this video has been helpful, laying out the broad reasoning behind the recommendations that you probably recently received in the mail. As church members, we're all going to be voting on it in early October. Elsewhere on the church website, you'll probably find the PowerPoint slides which were covered in the church conference on September 11th that you may have missed. These contain some additional details that may be of interest to you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Don't hesitate to ask any of the church staff or any member of the executive committee or any member of the Long Range Planning Committee. Thanks, and God bless.